Okay, this video specifically is going to be about how shift workers can finally lose fat and get in shape and regain their energy. Because for us shift workers, things become a little bit more difficult. And you'll notice if you've maybe let yourself go or put a little bit of weight on over the years and you've tried to lose it, you know how difficult it can be working shifts and trying to get in shape. So I want to just go through a few of the problems that I face and that the guys and girls that I work with face and how we overcome them. So a little bit about me. I've worked shifts for 15 years. I first started off as a cab driver. I was a London cab driver. I passed the knowledge when I was 20 years old, and that was me in the first picture. And I was exercising. I was training mixed martial arts every day. I thought I was quite fit at the time, to be fair, looking back, but obviously I was very overweight. I mean, I was 118 kilos at my heaviest, and I was sat in a taxi all day working shifts. Although I could choose my own shifts, I was working a mix of day shifts and night shifts. And I did some night work as a courier, same story, and then I joined the fire brigade. And when I'd lost some weight as a cab driver and a courier, I never got really fully in shape. I got as fit as I thought I could do when I joined the fire service, and I was still probably 10 kilos overweight. But then when I joined the fire service, I just put more weight back on. Even though I was fairly active, the lifestyle and the shift pattern was just conducive to me putting more weight on. There was always cakes on the table. We was always going out and eating takeaways, always working late shifts and not eating properly, always feeling like I never had energy to train. So, as I say, I was overweight most of my life. I could never stick to a diet, and I'd always have a start again Monday mentality until I figured it all out. So why is it harder for us shift workers? Well, one is we've got no routine. So depending on what we're doing, shift pattern, our roster might change throughout the week or the month. We might have a repeating pattern, but week to week, the days are different, the nights are different, and it's really hard to get in a routine. And then also eating on the go, so not preparing meals, feeling like you're out and about and you've just got to grab something to eat because you don't have the time to prepare, or you don't have the time to go and eat something healthy. Okay, long hours and unpredictable overtime. How many times are you ready to go home and all of a sudden, you got a few more hours to do, a job's come in, whether you're in the police, ambulance, fire service, hospital, you ain't going home yet, you got a few more hours to do, and then you get home, you're knackered, you get a takeaway, you pop in Tesco on the way home, and you just end up eating a load of rubbish. And then you feel exhausted, and because you're exhausted and you've got no energy, you feel like you can't train, and you've got no time to train, and so you don't, and so you pull it off, and so the cycle continues. So when it comes to diet, now most shift workers eat ad hoc. As I said before, we eat on the go from petrol stations, vending machines, takeaways, drive-throughs, and trying to follow a structured meal plan doesn't work because our routine is so different. It's hard to follow a plan. Okay, it's hard to follow a rigid plan because days and nights are always different. Things come up. When things come up, we end up ruining our diet plan, and then we get into this headspace where we're in an all or nothing mentality, and we'll think we'll start again Monday. And then Monday doesn't roll around until next month, and then we're back to square one. So the solution is that we need to eat flexibly, okay, within a calorie deficit. We need to eat the foods that we know we can stick to, that we enjoy, but that still puts us in a calorie deficit. Okay, and meal prepping is an absolute cheat code for this, as well as always having high protein snacks on hand. So whenever things come up, whenever the day or night becomes chaos and we don't have time to eat, rather than binging later, we've got a high protein snack that we can eat so we can stick to our diet. Now, when it comes to a diet, a good solid 500 calorie deficit is all that we need. So our maintenance calories are what we burn every day. We need to eat 500 calories below that in order to lose half a kilo of weight per week. Okay, and you want to avoid crash diets. We want to stick to a diet that we can adhere to. All of the evidence now suggests that the most important thing when it comes to dieting is adherence. Picking a diet that we can stick to. And when I say diet, I'm talking about the foods that we're eating. Okay. Now you can find out your maintenance from an online calculator, but they're just a rough guess. What I like to do with the shift workers I work with is do an assessment week. So you record all of your activity, all of your food for a whole week, weigh yourself every day, and if your weight hasn't changed, you know that's your maintenance. Otherwise, it's kind of a bit of a stab in the dark. Okay, now as you lose weight, this is a mistake people make. As they lose weight, their daily maintenance lowers and they don't adjust for that, so they don't end up losing more weight. So you need to lower your calories as you lose weight. Now, when it comes to training, and this is the biggest problem that I see, is that most shift workers, they end up training when they're exhausted. They're coming off of a night shift, or they've done some overtime and they feel battered, but they feel like they need to go to the gym. Now, the problem with this is that when you train when you're exhausted, you might as well throw that workout in the bin. There's no point doing it. Okay, all it does is slows your recovery. It makes you more exhausted and means there's going to be a longer period of time before you're fully recovered, before you can hit a proper workout again. So you need to stop training when you're exhausted. And to add to this, when you train like a bodybuilder, if you're doing push, pull, legs, split, or you're doing even worse than that, you're doing chest, shoulders, arms, legs, back. The trouble is, if you miss one of those days, you then feel like you've either got to push that day on or you've got to skip it. Now, if you skip it, in your head, you're then thinking, I've not done a back workout for a whole week. And then you end up in a start again Monday mentality, and it's no good. So the best thing to do is when you're working shifts is either train upper, lower. So one day you do upper body, one day you do lower body. Now, worst case scenario, if you can only get 2 good workouts in a week, at least you've hit every single muscle group once. You can also do a full body split. So every day you go to the gym, you can mix the exercises, but you're doing full body. So if you have a terrible week and you can only get 1 solid workout in, at least you've hit every muscle group at least once. And if you get 3 or 4 sessions in, you've hit every muscle group 3 or 4 times. And volume and frequency is the most important thing for progress here. Okay, and 2 killer workouts absolutely smashes 4 shy half-assed ones. There's no point doing half-assed workouts. Skip the workout, make sure you're rested and recovered, and hit it hard when you are, because all you're going to do is delay your recovery. And walking is a cheat code. Adding walking to your daily to your day is brilliant, because walking takes no energy. You can fit it in around your day. You can listen to a podcast, go for a walk. You can walk to work. You can walk to the shops. You can park further away from wherever you need to be and walk. You can add steps in, and it's a great way to increase your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which means that you'll burn more calories throughout the day without adding any stress to your load. So walking is an absolute cheat code. And then the last point I want to touch on is sleep and recovery. Now, we're shift workers. If we're working night shifts, unfortunately, that is out of our control. Our sleep is going to be pretty wrecked. So what we do need to do is we need to manage the sleep that's within our control. Okay, now poor sleep wrecks your hormones. It's not just about feeling tired, and it's not just about feeling exhausted. Okay, ghrelin, your hunger hormone, that increases with poor sleep, which means you're more hungry, which doesn't help being on a diet, obviously. Leptin, your satiety hormone, your fullness hormone, that decreases, which means you don't feel as satiated or as full. Bad news when you're on a diet. And then hormones like testosterone for men and cortisol for both men and women increases your stress. Stress increases cortisol, but it also increases your hunger and your cravings, and particularly for men, doesn't help when you're trying to get rid of stubborn belly fat. Okay, so we need to improve the sleep within our control to improve our recovery. And here are a few things I do to improve my sleep, and what I always get the guys and girls that work with me to look at first. And that is your phone on do not disturb mode 1 hour before bed. Set a timer. Mine comes on at 9 o'clock every day. No notifications come through unless it's from immediate family. I don't get any notifications, no doom scrolling, no TikTok, no Instagram, no messages, nothing. Okay, and then I listen to either a podcast or an audio book. No TV, because it just gets my adrenaline going. I just want to be as chilled as we can before bed. Okay, and I'm asked to block out all light. You want to remove every bit of light, and then you want cool, fresh air coming into your bedroom. Okay, fresh air and a cool environment is going to massively help your sleep. And the last one, and this is shift workers' kryptonite, is caffeine. We all love caffeine, but you need to make sure that you're not having caffeine at least 6 hours before bed as a very minimum. Now, when it comes to caffeine, I'm the kind of guy that can drink a cup of coffee before bed and still fall asleep, and you might be too. However, research has shown that even if you're able to get to sleep, caffeine is going to hinder you getting into deep and REM sleep. So you might feel like caffeine's not having an impact, but it is. You might be getting sleep, but it's going to be low quality. It's going to affect the quality of your sleep, which is huge. So you need to avoid caffeine at least 6 hours. So if you're on a night shift and you want to go sleep when you get home, you need to think about that and factor that in and avoid caffeine. Okay, if you can improve these 3 areas, then fat loss is going to be on easy mode. There are 3 areas which all shift workers seem to make, and mistakes they seem to make. But if you can fix these 3 areas, you're going to make your fat loss journey so much easier. Okay, now I've personally lost 35 kilos while working shifts, and these were the 3 biggest unlocks for me. And I've helped police, fire, ambo staff, hospital staff, hospitality, hotel workers, transport workers lose fat and get in shape while working shifts. So it isn't impossible. We do need to just make some tweaks. But once you make them tweaks, this stuff can become a lot easier. And guys, if you DM me 999 on Instagram, I'll send you a meal prep guide with a few of my favorite meal prep recipes. And I'll send you a shift workers workout plan so you can start hitting some proper workouts and stop spinning your wheels. And if you want a little bit of help implementing all of this stuff, then this is what I do. I coach people through this stuff. So just reach out on Instagram. We can book a call, go over some of your challenges and some of your goals and see how I might be able to help you.